Banana slam jam.
So this is going to be an explanation on why minus armor is countered by armor, but armor is not countered by minus armor. So, I'm going to give myself 10 armor. The summary of this video is that the absolute value of your armor, absolute value means that if it's -9 or 9, the distance away from it is 0. Like, the distance away from 0 is your absolute value. So the absolute value of -9 is 9, the absolute value of 9 is 9. So every positive number, its absolute value is the same. Every negative number, just remove the negative. That's what absolute value means. So the lower the absolute value is, the more value minus armor is. So the closer it brings you to 0 means the more valuable minus armor is. So what I mean is, it is equally less valuable to minus armor somebody at 30 armor as it is to send them past -30 armor. Like, so it's more efficient to send from somebody from 10 to 0 than 20 to 10, or from -10 to -20 than -20 to -30. So we're going to explain this now with just the numbers you see. So right now we're at 10 armor, okay? At 10 armor, I effectively have 38% physical damage resistance. So if I have 38% physical resistance, we're going to take hypothetical numbers where every hero that's hitting me hits for 100. So I take 62 damage rather than 100. If I get amped for minus 10 armor, I now take pure damage, right? I have 0 armor, 0 physical resistance, and I go from taking 62 damage to 100 damage. So the percent increase in damage is 38 out of 62. So let's quickly do the division there. 38 divided by 62. I effectively increased my damage from going from 10 armor to 0 by 61%. That is how much I increased my damage by, because I did 38 more damage after doing 62 damage originally. So I do 161% damage if I have minus 10 armor on a 10 armor target, okay? So let's do it for 20 armor. So at 10 armor, I had 38%, right? Physical resistance. So I took 62 damage. Oh, sorry, wrong items here. At 20 armor, I have 56% physical resistance. So I have 44 damage that I take rather than 100. So if I go from taking 44 damage to taking 62, I am increasing it by 18 damage out of 44. So let's do 18 divided by 44. That is 41%. So to go from 20 armor to 10 amps me by 41%, while going from 10 to 0 amps me by 61%. We can continue increasing the values all you want. It's the same for when you do minus armor. So when you go from 0
BSJ while 3 years,
to
BSJ
-10,
while BSJ smooth, BSJ crazy.
I'm actually, it's going to be really hard to show you that. You know what? Screw it. X. So right now I have 0 armor, and then Solar Crest puts me at -8, and then I'll give him a Blightstone to put me at -10. So normally, if this axe were to hit for 100 damage, because I'm at 0 armor, if I were to go to -10 armor, he would hit me for 32% extra damage. Right? Because it's minus 32 physical resistance. So, going from -10, from 0 to -10, as you're going away from 0, actually makes it so the amp is less, right? As you go down and further. So, if we go from -10 to -20, for instance, so we need a create hero Slardar. So now, I'm going to be at I want to be at -20. So I'm at 0. I need this guy to hit me and this guy to amp me. So at -20, I'm at 55% extra damage. So instead of going from 100 to 132, I then go from 132 to 155. So if we're increasing from -10 to -20, I'm doing 23 extra damage on top of the 132. So we're doing 23 divided by 132. That percent amp is 17%, right? So suddenly, from going from 20 to 10 it was 40% damage. From 10 to 0 was 60% damage. From 0 to negative 10 was only 32%. And then from negative 10 to 20 was only 17%. So it's basically that in positive values, from going from 10 to 0 is the most positive impact, right? The absolute value determines how significant the minus armor is. But as you go into the minus armors, the percent amp is less and less. That's all it is. And so the reason why minus armor counters armor, the reason why armor counters minus armor is because if you have too much armor, at some point, you're only amping them by like 20%. But at the same time, if you're sending them way into the depths of negative armor, it's really not that great either. So it's like, you want to find this happy balance of minus armor strats. So if a hero has 20 armor on the opponent team, it'll be in your best interest to put them around 0. That's the highest percent amp you can possibly do effectively with minus armor. So if you're dealing with high armor heroes like Terrorblade, you don't counter them with Slardar. It's the opposite, right? Slardar is countered by Terrorblade and vice versa. Heroes like TA are great against low armor heroes, but not that great against high armor heroes because TA is a minus armor based hero. Okay.